Hey guys, what's up? I was gonna do a live video, but for some reason when I'm out here, man, the internet is not really doing what I need to do. And I don't like my videos breaking up. But thanks AJ for telling me, man, about the fact that you couldn't hear anything as I was talking. So I'm up here today, guys. It's a beautiful day out today here in lovely Georgia City where I live. 21 degrees Celsius, which is the warmest day it's been in the past couple weeks. Like I said, really nice. I'm just trying to get over this last minute cough here. So feeling a lot better than I was last week. And I wasn't really feeling bad. I just needed to get some rest, man. That's what I needed. So now I can walk around my house. I can, talk because, hey, I ain't got to worry about losing no fucking internet. So here's the thing, man, that's going on. There's a thing that's been happening with the China thing. And, with Japan, because our Prime Minister Takaichi basically said the same shit that everybody else was saying before her about what our contingency plan is for Taiwan. And the Chinese are just like crying like a bunch of bitches and just making up all kinds of shit and blowing this thing up more than they need to. And that is how the Communist Party works. They work out of fear. They work out of control. They may sit up there and say, well, we won't interfere with countries, what they do and this. But then as soon as you say something that they don't like, they're going to all of a sudden try to threaten you and try to bully you around. And as we speak right now, well, I just heard that they landed some ships or put some ships around Sankaku, which is Japan, because that's a disputed island group. So they keep trying to claim that that's their shit. So of course Japan will respond in kind. So and then you got people out there saying, well, yeah, she shouldn't have said what she said. You got the motherfucker saying that that he was going to cut her head off, which should never be. In fact, that Chinese motherfucker that said that he was going to cut her head off in Osaka should be banned from Japan. They should kick his bitch ass out of Japan. And he should never be allowed to go anywhere in the world. Now, he's a fucking diplomat, but he's going to say some stupid shit like that. This is Communist Party bullshit. That's what they say, and that's what they do. Now, everybody, knows that if they know anything about Chinese history, the Chinese, man, they have a wonderful history up until the time the communists took them over. Look, you got to commend Mao on the winning the Civil War in '49, but he won the war in '49, but he made a lot of fucking mistakes after the war with the Great March, Great Leap Forward, which practically fucked up the country and like destroyed then every good thing about China, and then the Cultural Revolution when they destroyed the educated. They literally fucked that place up, man. He really did. And then Xi comes in and Deng comes in and they want to try to improve the economy, which they did, and thinking that they can spin their way out of shit and steal all technology, buy it all, steal it all. They got engineers, the cheap sells that they are, from America and other countries that fucking just basically sold out for money to sell the Chinese the secrets of the advancements that we in the West have made. So they try to catch up or some bullshit right away, right? So, that's not the way you do things, of course. But the Chinese don't play fair. They never have. They never fucking will with this Communist Party, right? So now here we are in Japan, and we say things that need to be said because this woman needed to say that about Taiwan. That's what it is. She needed to say this. So she comes out and says what she says, and they are now having a fucking heart attack about it and wanting to threaten Japan and this, that, the other. The Chinese Communist Party always like, well, yeah, we don't like to get involved, interfere in other countries' things. And then they say, well, don't interfere with ours. Look, yeah, you can say what you want to say, but you do not tell another country what to say. And that's what they try to do with Japan. They try to tell Japan what to say. And then on top of the bullshit, guys, I get a fucking, I made a comment on my, a lot of little ladybugs on my house this thing. It's kind of cute. I get a lot of little, I responded to I made a comment about China needs to stop crying like a big baby that she is, take off her fucking 80-year-old diaper. And then you get this guy from China up there, because he didn't know I was American, because I told him, hey, they're fucking with our country because I live in Japan. This is my country now. I live in Japan now. And so he says, well, You're not really a country. You're just a puppet of America. This kind of this, that, the other. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, Japan is not a puppet of any country. We have a security agreement with the United States. Japan was occupied until 1952. After 1952 and the San Francisco Accords, Japan gained its independence, and they also signed the security agreement with the United States. How can you expect any country that just got devastated in the war to come out of a war and then, not sign the security agreement with the country that defeated them? How could you not do that? How could you not expect that? You can't expect the country to just leave itself just butt naked out there with no fucking ways of defending itself. You see what I'm saying? So then you as a Communist Party can just come in and do what the fuck you want? No. That is not the way it works, guys. That is not the way it needs to work here in Japan. And like I said, Japan is nobody's puppet, because Japan is also, they just changed the policy on the business management visa to now you got Chinese families scrambling to get their bitch asses out of Japan because they abuse the system. Okay? This is the truth. I'm coming at you from the truth. I have nothing against people from China. I have nothing against, anybody really. What I am not in favor of is a Chinese fucking Communist Party trying to run other countries by being bullies and threatening people in this region. This is what is frustrating me. Which is making me feel uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not even really feeling uncomfortable about it. I'm level-headed, but I just think that it's not the way that we need to do things in the world, diplomatically. Okay, number one, you don't threaten a world leader when you are sitting on your fat ass in her consulate, and one of her consulates, your consulate in Osaka, saying you're going to cut her head off. You don't do that. And then you pull it off of whatever fucking platform you put it on to try to hide behind this shit. To me, that guy is just a bitch, because bitches are the ones that kind of hide behind their fucking comments and then try to take them down when it's all said and done. Okay, so he's just a bitch. So getting back to this comment from another bitch from China that got up there and said some shit about Japan. He's talking about, how they're a puppet country. And then he apparently did not know that I'm American. So I got back on his ass and I said, no, I am an American living in an allied nation. Yes, we defeated Japan in World War II, but we also helped China during World War II too, which the motherfuckers didn't even acknowledge during their 80-year celebration. They try to act like they did it all by themselves, which they fucking didn't. The Flying Tigers over there, the Americans helped these guys out when they froze the Civil War to fight off the Japanese during World War II. After World War II, the Communist Party took over mainland Japan. They won the Civil War, or they were left. Nobody wins a war. It's just people who were left. So they were left in the majority on the mainland. Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists moved to Taiwan. Taiwan was never under Chinese Communist Party control. So what happened was, They never went after Taiwan because they did not have the military strength to do it. They knew the Americans would hold them off. Well, in '72, Richard Mill fucking House Nixon went to China, and under the auspices that we're going to recognize the One China thing, which was another piece of bullshit ass treaty, because Nixon was doing that shit for votes, because he knew that he's going to get more votes if he upped the ante, if he opened up China, because he said, hey, Nixon, we opened up China so I can get reelected, right? And then eventually in '74, his bitch ass got impeached for Watergate. But see, here's the thing, guys. Here's what I'm saying, is that was a shitty deal. What the United States should have done, and that's where their problem is, they felt like they were operating from a position of weakness because we just got our asses beat in Vietnam, right? And so now the American psychic was all fucked up. Oh, we just got beaten in Vietnam. Now we're all fucked. Now what we going to do? We got to do something to bring the American psyche back, right? So that's when he decided to open up China. But in the end, he sacrificed Taiwan. What he should have fucking did was he should have said, no, you need to recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. And then we will recognize China as a nation itself. That's what should have been said. But Mao probably held firm, knowing his advantage that he had on the Americans, who was all mired and still mired at the time in '72 in Vietnam. And, when 75 popped around, of course, the North Vietnamese rolled down and took care of business. But because America never really fucking should have been there anyway, and they never really committed to the fucking war, right? So basically what I'm getting at is, 72 was a fuck up. 72 was a fuck up. And see, this is the way American foreign policy is and British foreign policy. They always do shit which looks good on paper and looks good at the moment, but later on it's going to turn and be egg in their face later on down the road. This is an egg in your face moment. Taiwan is a fucking problem, and I know that you in the United States, you're far away from here, so you're not really worried about it. And I think that a lot of Americans, which the Chinese are banking on, are not willing to fucking sacrifice a lot of American bodies and lives for Taiwan, even though you know Taiwan is worth sacrifice for because they do all the chips, man. And Americans rely on that chips because, like I said, Americans' policy of farming out their labor and skills and whatnot instead of taking care of their own people has gotten them in this situation. That's basically what it is. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to know what has transpired up to this point, why we're in the situation we're in now. And another thing, so the Chinese are getting all bent out of shape over the bullshit because the Japanese had recognized, everybody recognized as a one China deal. Okay, we get it. But I think just to not jump too hard on my own country, America, and other countries, what they did, and recognizing the fact that it's one China. At that point, when that treaty was made, China did not say that they would unify militarily. That we will unify militarily did not come out until fucking Xi got his ass in office, right? So now he's in office and he's running China, and then he's telling the Chinese people that we will unify Taiwan militarily. That's what he says. He created this mess too, as we talk now. So now he has to back up every fucking thing he's trying to say. He has to back every fucking thing up, right? So that's why Japan came out with what they came out with their policy after China stated, not China, but fucking Xi stated that he was going to reunite Taiwan with China, which never, I don't know why he keeps using the word reunite. Taiwan never belonged to red fucking China. So Taiwanese consider themselves Taiwanese. 71% of the people in Taiwan consider themselves Taiwanese. Only 2% are like, okay, well, yeah, maybe we belong to China. Most people in Taiwan don't even fucking want to deal with China. And the only reason why Taiwan is not saying, well, fuck you, we're going to go independent, is because they don't want the backlash right now. They don't need the backlash. But I think that they should say, fuck you, China, we're going to go independent, because what's going to happen is China's going to send those ships out. They're going to immediately attack Taiwan. But here's the scenario for your ass that I've been researching on. Here's what's really going to fucking happen. Of course, it can only work if the man at the top in the White House, instead of fucking talking shit, if he's got his real balls, if he's got gotta have some real balls, instead of talking shit, instead of running his mouth, talking out the side of his fucking neck, he has to be able to do this. So here's the real scenario for your ass. China will send tons of ships toward Taiwan. Tons of ships. They will activate those nuclear subs, powered submarines. They will send it. They already showed in their exercise that they formed a circle around Taiwan. They basically cut Taiwan off that excuse me, after Pelosi went there, because they were so mad. Basically, China is like one big fucking baby, trust me. So anyway, what will happen is the US they have what they call a 48-hour plan. And they will activate every fucking force known to man, US Navy. We got 6 countries that we are in cahoots with in the Indo-Pacific region that will literally shut China's ass down. The Philippines, India, you got Australia, Japan, South Korea. There's another country I may be forgetting about, but still, these countries are gonna work with the United States. We got bases all over the fucking place. We can come at China from all kind of ways. Then we also have satellite imagery. We will shut down their fucking communications for sure. We will shut that down. China won't even be able to fuck with each other. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up pulling their bitch asses away from Taiwan, and then they're going to say, oh, this was a successful naval exercise, when in fact they lost face. And that may have happened in the past when they did that circle thing around Taiwan, like they were going in, and the U.S. did the same shit that nobody talked about on the news, and they fucked around and backed off. So everybody's talking about how China is the military, power now that it is now, and and how they got all this, that, the other. But let me tell you straight up, and you coming from an Air Force man that was in the war. China has not been in a fucking major war since the 40s. And that was when they were fighting each other. They were in a war with Japan that we helped them win. But they went back to the Civil War. It's almost like you coming in on a husband and wife team that have been fighting for years, and then there's another guy trying to break in the house, and then they asked a friend, hey, can you help keep this guy off us? So we helped keep the guy off of them. Then after that, after we took care of him, then they went back to fighting each other. The wife ran off to Taiwan, okay, which was never really run by the husband, was never in the husband's house. She basically ran off to the fucking shed that was never part of, just like the shed behind me on my neighbor's lot. She ran off to the shed, which was never part of my property. Now all of a sudden I come out and say, hey, that's my shed. I want it back, and then everybody says, okay, we agree that is your shed. And then I say, oh, by the way, 30 years later, I'm gonna take it back by force. Now everybody's like, wait, what the fuck? What do you mean gonna take it by force? When everybody was thinking that they were just gonna let these people work their elections. What needs to happen with Taiwan? If Taiwan is the one that needs to decide whether Taiwan is for going back to China. Not the Chinese military, not the fucking PLA. Taiwan. And that's what I think with the problem we're having. That's what the problem the West is having is Taiwan needs to figure that out. Not China. Taiwan. It is Taiwan. The people of Taiwan's choice. If they come out and they elect a pro-Chinese candidate and they say, yeah, we want to go back to China, and they go back, then that's the best case scenario. That's the scenario that needs to play out any fucking way. Or if they come out and they say, well, we want independence, then they're going to get independence. Now, China won't like it, but that's the law of nature. That's the way the motherfuckers wanted to do it. So that's the way they got to get it done. But China knows that if they don't have Taiwan, they won't have as much power in the Pacific as they were trying to get. No matter how many fucking ships they build, they got the largest navy in the world. No matter what, they are no match for the United States if we go at them full force with balls. We got to go out there with balls. Not no Trump talking bullshit about, oh yeah, Russia, Ukraine, the war be over in one day kind of mentality, kind of bullshit. And that is not what Japan was here, which is why Prime Minister Takaichi confronted this, nipped this in the ass, in the bud right now. Because she's trying to also pull out what is America's take backing on this. What are they going to say about the fact that Japan is standing up to China? What is America going to say about this? I haven't seen Trump say much on it. I know that Hegseth was out there talking about shit. But what I need Trump to come out and say, because I know if I'm president, that's what I would say to China. I say, well, look, I think you guys are blowing this out of proportion. This has always been a policy of Japan's since you said that you want to retake Taiwan militarily. Everybody's tripping. Even the Europeans are tripping on this now. See? So, but we all know the Europeans are fucking spineless. They're not going to, they talk a lot of shit. But then they may send you a few arms. But they're not going to send their people over here to die for Japan. The only country that is required to assist Japan in anything is the United States, because we have the security agreement with the U.S. One gets attacked, it's attacked on all of us. See, so that's the only person that's the only country that's required. And even though Trump doesn't have the balls, he will have to help Japan out because that is part of the treaty. See what I'm saying? To get it done. We already know Europeans don't have any balls. They're going to just talk a bunch of bullshit. NATO just talk shit. But, they may say, oh yeah, well, you do this, do that. No. NATO, if you want to show me you got balls, you need to shoot down the motherfucking Russian aircraft, the drone that come in your airspace without asking questions. That's when I know you got the balls and you're serious about this shit. But you want to protect your gleaming little cities and keep your people walking around with the beer fest and shit. But you are not ready to fight anybody. You haven't been able to fight no motherfucking body since World War II. You just want to have these shiny, gleamy aircraft and shiny uniforms and like this, that, the other. But you need to step up with some fucking balls. If you got balls, show me you got the balls, and then we'll talk, okay? And that's the difference, guys. That is the difference between someone of African descent and of European descent, where they want to sit there and they just want to talk shit. And Africans, we're brutal. We were brutal historically. You study our history. We go to war. We going to war. We cutting heads off. We fight. We're brutal. We're rolling over motherfuckers. There ain't no fuck. Look, I'm the kind of guy that if I was a coach, a football coach, I'm winning 95-0. I'm not going to stop at 34-0 and just go fucking kick field goals. Fuck that. I'm 95-0 on the motherfucker. I'm annihilating the motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. You have to be in a situation where you want to annihilate you need to annihilate. Not this, oh, what about this? Oh, we got to feel sorry. No, fuck that. Blow away. Annihilate. That's the mentality you have to have when you are fighting for a cause. You don't fight for a cause half-ass. You don't do that. You go in and you go in to annihilate the motherfucker. So that way you can get things done. That is the way it has to work. That is the way it always needed to work, guys. We taught you how to wipe your ass. Do we now need to teach you how to fight a war? You see what I'm saying? That's the way it's got to work. That's the way it works, guys. There is no other way. So, yeah, we're over here in Japan. I'm not sweating a bit because I already know. I was in the Air Force. I know how the American military works. If it works the way it's supposed to work. Excuse me. I know America is always prepared. It's a global force. It's supposed to be able to handle any contingency. I know the way America works. This thing getting all the allies involved, either I like it or I don't. You know, and I'm like I said, I don't trust the Europeans. You still got motherfucking Orban importing oil from Russia. You know, when we're trying to put sanctions on his ass, and then Trump says, "Okay, you can do it." I would have said, "No, fucking Orban, fuck you. I don't want nobody importing shit from Russia. We're gonna chokehold these motherfuckers out of Ukraine." That's the way it's got to work. This is a fucking war. Our kids are looking at World War II action in 2025 on how these Ukraine looks like motherfucking, you know, places in fucking World War II back in the 40s. You see what I'm saying? They bombed so many fucking places in Ukraine. Russia put cities in ruins. This is the same fucking shit. The same shit that their cities, Leningrad, that they had looked like back in World War II. The fucking Dresden, fucking Berlin, all these countries left in shambles, London. This is World War II in our faces, in reality, in our faces, right? So is Japan going to be able to get the help that it needs from the United States should China attack Japan? Yes, because we have a security agreement with the United States. Did Takaichi say the right thing? Yes. Should Takaichi back down from what she says? Fuck no. This is Japan. We don't live on our knees for no fucking body. This is not that kind of country. Yeah, you may see Japanese people being polite and bowing and omotenashi and this, that, the other. But when it comes to protecting our interests, our land, every blade of grass that I'm standing on my lot is Japanese. And I own the blade of grass on my lot. See, Chinese come over to Japan because they can't own the land in China. They can own the house that the land sits on, but they never own the land. The government owns the land, so the government can kick you off your fucking land anytime you want. For example, if my house, my almost 5,500 square foot lot was in China right now, and the Chinese military wanted to come over and take over this part of the use as one of their regional bases or something, a regional headquarters, they could just come in and tell me you got 24 hours to get the fuck out. And they take my land from me and they do whatever they want in my house. They'll just give me money for my house. Say, okay, this is our place now. And then next, I walk by here the next day. I got some fucking officer and his wife sleeping up in my master bedroom and a couple other officers sleeping in my kids' bedrooms. And then I got somebody, a fucking assistant in my office in the front. And his maids and shit are cooking downstairs in my house. This is the reality of shit in China. That's why the motherfuckers like coming over here and living in Japan. But then when they get to Japan, they want to play their fucking nationalist bullshit on their fucking phones, on the trains, so they can embarrass the Japanese with all their rhetoric. And all I can say to people from China, if you're going to live in Japan, respect Japanese law. This is not fucking China. This is Japan. And we don't live on the knees, and we are our own sovereign nation here. And we are not a puppet nation. You break the law in Japan, you will fucking pay. Just like that guy that he was driving this bitch ass Land Rover, and then he hit this kid on the way, this elementary kid all the way to school because he was drunk, Chinese man. And then he gets out of his car and he's checking, oh yeah, you guys are okay. And then he gets back in his fucking car. And it's like, that is a felony. That is illegal. No, what you are supposed to do, Mr. Man, is you're supposed to fucking stay on site, get your ass checked, Let them know that you did drink, lose your fucking license, and you can't drive another car in Japan until you go back to driving school. That's the way. That is the law in Japan. You don't come over here and act like this is your fucking country, because it's not. This is Japan. This is not fucking China. Okay? And I think that another thing, the Chinese, one of the foreign ministers, or the foreign minister is now recommending, I recommend Chinese not go to Japan now. The tourists don't go to Japan. Okay, fuck it, don't come. We don't need you any fucking way, don't come. Tell you people don't come, don't fucking come. Now we ain't got to worry about all these loud, obnoxious motherfuckers walking around, disrespecting the country. I ain't got to tell another Chinese on the train to cut his fucking phone off, you know. So yeah, you don't want to come, don't fucking come. Good riddance. Good fucking riddance, you know. And like I said, I know that not every Chinese person is bad, because I've met some really nice people here that visited from China. But what gets me are those people who come over here and think that they need to spread the communist government bullshit over here. In their rhetoric, their behavior, their disrespect for the country, they think they're privileged because they're privileged in China, so they come over to Japan looking for their privilege. I'm here to tell you, China man, you're just another motherfucker in Japan. You are not Japanese, and you are not fucking privileged here. You may be privileged in your country, in your fucking district, in Sichuan, fucking, you know, Shenzhen, Chongqing, Beijing, Shanghai, or wherever the fuck you're from in China. But you have no fucking privileges over here in Japan. You are just like anybody else. Once you accept that in your head, you will probably live a better life in Japan. And by the way, all you guys that are still waiting on that fucking business visa thing, because you got 3 years. You got 3 years to come up with that fucking $200,000, or you got to get the fuck out of Japan. And most of you don't have it because you've been abusing the system with your fake businesses and everything like that. Get your bitch asses out of Japan. Go to Spain, go to Portugal, where the fuck you want to go. But your days in Japan are fucking numbered because you don't have the money, because you abuse the system. You came over here and you were supposed to be creating jobs for Japanese businesses and creating jobs for Japanese, hiring Japanese. Now you got to speak Japanese. You got to have a master's degree in business. You got to have experience. You got to get Japanese people to process your paperwork now. You got to do a lot of those things, and you got to write that check for that $200,000 fucking dollars. Yes. So if you can't do that, sayonara. Get the fuck out. That's what has to happen. So anyway, this is not I'm not doing this video to bash China or Chinese. I'm just here because I am getting kind of sick and tired of the Chinese Communist government sending the people over here. And mainly I just was a little bit perturbed because of what that fucking diplomat said about wanting to cut off our Prime Minister of Japan's neck and head, or whatever the fuck he said. And that is not the way that you do business. That's not the way you do business. Look, every nation has a difference, and we are all able to speak candidly with each other. When she met she spoke candidly. She can speak to Japan candidly. A motherfucker in China can say, fuck you, Japan, you're full of shit. And guess what? Or fuck you, America, and you're full of shit. Am I going to get upset? No. I'm not going to say, well, if you say that again, I'm going to bring my ships over to your islands. No. That's not how the way it fucking works. Diplomacy doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And China, don't forget. I just want you to remember this shit. The United States can wipe your fucking ass off the planet Earth in 15 minutes. The U.S. can wipe you off this planet in 15 minutes. So you better be careful about which kind of buttons you're going to fucking push. You may build up your ships and all this shit all you want, but if those motherfuckers can't move and your military is stuck on that fucking mainland and whatnot, and you thinking that Taiwan, you're going to come and grab Taiwan real fast and that's the end of it, you got another fucking thing coming. You got another thing coming. These people will wipe you off the face of the earth. And by the way, we will give Tibet back to Tibet with Tibet laws. You need to give that motherfucker up too while you at it. So I know I've been voicing a lot. I know I'm venting right now. And like I said, China used to be the envy of the world, man. The Chinese culture used to be so beautiful, man. You guys had everything. You look at Japan. The reason why a lot of Chinese tourists love coming to Japan, because Japan looks like China 500 fucking years ago. That's why you like coming to Japan. Because it was you 500 years ago. Everybody wanted to go to China before. Everybody wanted to learn from China. But you let the communist government come in and fuck your land up. That's what you did. You let them come in and fuck up your country. And now they're talking about, oh, look, you got money, so we're living better. No, you're not living money better because you got money. Nobody gives a fuck about the Chinese right now because of how you behave and what kind of country you are. You don't have the same reputation. You come sit at the table, people, instead of sitting there waiting, they're getting up and leaving you there by yourself. You wonder? You wonder why? So you need to look at that. And a lot of the Chinese guys get up here. I had that same ignorant guy that made the comment on me, respond to my comment. I don't really take your responses too serious, guys. In fact, I feel sorry for you motherfuckers because, yeah, you might get up there and say something bad about America. I'm like, great. I know America has a racist country. I know America has a lot of fuck-ups. The difference between me, an American citizen, and you, Chinese citizen, is you don't know how fucked up your country is because they always tell you the bullshit. They always sell you shit and you buy it. You always drink the fucking Kool-Aid. That is the difference. So don't come up on any of my my channels or anything and make a comment about something about Japan or US or whatever when you don't even know that much about your own fucking country. There you go. When you don't even know that much about your own fucking country, do not come up on my channel or make a comment that I made on another site and say what you think you know what to say. Because I will tell you the straight up truth. I went to college. I majored in business, but my minor was Asian studies. And I studied damn near every country in Asia. I know Asian history. And I know how good your history was. And I know how much you fucked it up since 49. So trust me, I know. All right? So anyway, this is BSP. And I'm here to tell you that I'm going to call this. We will not live on our knees for China. No fucking way. I'm out.